Well, this is a real one.
But
I don't plan on stopping this one unless we run out of things to talk about, but anything's possible.
No, I
Just
just
have to
like I
start
said,
making shit up.
Well, you could let me tell the stories the way it's supposed to be told instead of interrupting me.
I didn't. Floor is yours.
I'm kidding. I kid.
All right, welcome back, everyone. This episode, we're going to talk about other games that Chris and I came up with as kids. Sort of. Most of them were, games that we kind of came up with and figured out the rules and the pieces of the game. And these were mostly outside games. Some of them we played indoors, but these aren't your typical board games. These are activity games and just kids getting into mischief, as it were, as you'll hear. So hope you enjoy hearing about some of the things we came up with, and maybe it'll inspire you to if there's kids watching some games. Don't do it. Hope you enjoy.
Hey, too bad.
Hi, too bad. Like my background?
I did. Yes, I have seen the Hollowitz.
I was looking for something while I was waiting for you, and I'm like, oh, that'll work. Now, do you see it correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's flipped for me.
Yeah, no, it's correct for us.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, the arm kind of, depending on how you move, makes your shoulder go in and out.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the arm of the mic.
Right. No, that's fine.
Yeah. Somebody stealing your car?
Well, both of ours are in the garage, so...
just stopped.
It wouldn't be that loud. It must have been one of the neighbors.
That's a pretty good mic you got there, because I could hear it.
Yeah. I could hear it through my headphones.
You're like, what is that?
Well, I had to think about it. I'm like, did I lean on the keys? Because I'm forever doing that. I lean on the keys and set the alarm off. And where the hell are the keys? Especially when it's early in the morning. Yeah, my neighbors love me.
Give me the keys!
Give me the keys!
So, today's episode,
yes,
we will be discussing childhood games that we created.
Yeah, other games.
Yeah, new games, completely. Games that you had to use your imagination.
Yeah.
You had to create your own world.
Indeed, and we were really good at that. We were outdoors kids. We
Definitely.
We definitely like to play video games, but we certainly like to do outdoor games.
Yeah, I honestly think the video games were more winter centered, more around the winter time.
Yep.
Especially in those blistery cold days, it's like, not going out. And the board games, video games were definitely wintertime. I do remember though we'd play some board games early in the mornings on summers, and then by mid-morning then we'd head outside or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. But so there were quite a few that, well, at least 4 or 5 that I can remember that we created.
Like?
Well, I was going to have you go first.
Oh, sure. Now I can talk. I just got shit for not letting you talk. So I'm like, yes, I better just... Apparently I talk too much.
I believe that was you that said that after watching your own half-hour intro. No, 40-minute intro to a half-hour podcast.
Wasn't quite that long. Couple minutes.
But no, okay. So what's the one that pops to mind when you think about it?
Well, the two that always come to mind for me, the first one that always comes to mind is Mans Bluff, which we certainly did not create. I'm pretty sure that was a game that existed.
Yes, in some form. It kind of came from Marco Polo, which played in a pool.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Marco, you got to say Polo, and you try to
Right. But I didn't know that that's where Mans Bluff came from. I've
I
heard of
believe
Marco Polo, but I didn't know that's where
Paulo. Paulo.
Palo, his cousin. So I remember vividly that we always played at your house because
you had too much breakable stuff.
Well, apparently you did too. Because I remember one key thing that got smoked, your dad's box TV.
Yes, it was.
I don't remember what was on top of it that we knocked over.
Oh, I do.
Of course you do.
Vividly, because I got a whooping over that one. Well, actually, I didn't on that particular occasion. So why don't you explain the game for those that are thinking?
So those who obviously were not a part of our game, we played in the house, not outside. And there would be anywhere from 3, 4 of us. I don't know, maybe 5.
I think once or twice we had 5.
Yeah, I don't remember how many we had. I remember faces and know we played with certain people. We'll call them Jacob and Jonathan. I don't know if Scott ever played with us.
Yes. Okay. Once or twice. That's why I think we had I think at one time we had 5 people a couple of times.
Yeah. And so basically we would blindfold somebody, spin them around in the middle of your living room, and then we pretty much played on the first floor.
Yes, so because that would have been really dangerous.
Yeah, going up and down. Oh, like you cared. Shall we sidebar for a minute and talk about rollerblading down Pine Street, which is a big hill? Chris had no concern over my welfare. Here, go down the hill on your rollerblades.
The only part where I had a slight pause with that was when you asked where are the brakes. I was like, oh, I took them off because I play hockey.
Yeah, it's probably a reason I don't remember that so well. Still kind of hurts when I press certain spots of my head.
Getting back to Mans Bluff, the true talk.
Oh, sure. Can't talk about this anymore.
Jerry's wimpy, how would you put it? Delicacies. He was very fragile. So
very fragile. Yeah, getting hit by a car. I think a lot of people are fragile.
Now, I believe that car braked. You did not get hit.
And I can remember. Mans Bluff.
Yes.
We would towel, I think, usually. I don't know that we had anything more sophisticated than that.
Yeah, I think you're right. We used like a hand towel.
Yeah, something like that. Wrap it around, cover the eyes, tie it in the knot, spin the person around in the middle of the room, and I don't know, they had to count to 3 or something.
3, and then we just ran like hell.
It just ran like hell. So to understand the layout of the room, it was probably, and I'm very bad with dimensions, especially when it's been years since we've been in that house, but I'd say it was probably 10 foot wide by probably 6 feet wide.
Oh, gosh, no.
10 feet long by 6.
No, that was probably okay. So my old house had 2 main rooms on the bottom floor. You had the kitchen and the living room. Yep. Almost in half. The kitchen was a little bigger, but you're probably talking. It was probably 12 by 16.
Yeah.
In the kitchen and
which had a dining room table.
Yes.
With a glass picture window.
Yeah.
So it was a big space.
Yes.
And your washer and dryer was in there.
Yes. And originally, and then they added on a bathroom, but I digress. The living room was about the same size, except the living room obviously had the furniture, as far as couch.
And I remember 2 couches, one along the long end and one along the short end.
Yeah, and a recliner.
And a recliner.
And a TV.
And a TV.
It wasn't the big console TV. It was it was a tube TV on a stand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the back of the TV had all these nice little vents to allow the heat to escape. Mm-hmm. So, in the course of one of these games of Mans Bluff, I don't even know who it was that actually knocked the candle over, but my mom had a liquid candle, which means it never solidified.
Yeah.
So it was a colored liquid, and I want to say it was red. But anyway, somebody knocked that over, and it ran down into the back of the TV. And we immediately stopped the game, and all looked at the TV going, I wonder if it's still going to work. So I said, one way to find out. So we tried to turn the TV on.
Smart for us to do.
Turned the TV on, and a poof of smoke came out the back, and that was it. And I thought, game's over, guys. You should probably go home.
Go home. Yeah.
Yep. So
I think you actually got out of that because you said you were playing with your dash hound Tiny, and you were throwing the ball, and
which we usually always did. I mean, we played with the dog. We had squeaky toys we'd throw and a little tennis ball and stuff. Yep. And so I remember my dad, and I didn't come out and tell him. I was waiting like.
Kids don't tell their parents they did something. They wait to see if they find out.
Right. Which, of course, he's gonna do. But all I could hear is him bellowing, what happened to my TV? He loved his TV. I said, oh, well, you know that candle Mom had? Yes. I said,
probably shouldn't keep that on.
Yeah, I did. I wanted to say that, but I thought it'd be pushing my luck.
Yeah, probably.
And explain that in the course of a game of playing with the dog, which I did after our game of Mans Bluff and you guys left, so that I technically was not lying. I was playing with the dog, with the ball and stuff, and accidentally hit the candle, and it must have poured into it, seemingly.
Yep.
But I said I picked everything up. I cleaned it all up. I thought it was okay. It's not. So that's when we got the big console TV after that. My dad had to go shop for a new TV. Came home with a big Zenith console thing.
Yeah,
so probably. I got a better TV out of it.
Exactly. You did him a favor. Or somebody did him a favor.
Yeah, I honestly don't recall.
I don't remember it being me. Because I feel like I saw it happen, so I don't think it was...
Now, Jacob, if you're out there and you by chance watch this,
don't use his last name.
It was Jerry's fault.
No last names. A lot of Jacobs in the world.
So I honestly think it was Jacob. Jacob was a lot of fun. We loved Jacob to death.
Oh yeah.
But Jacob was not the most coordinated boy.
He is the only one that made this a blood sport.
Now somebody, and I don't understand who.
And it wasn't that he wasn't coordinated. I will give Jacob that. It was that he was very daring. And when we would hide behind shit.
Make a noise.
And he would just lunge at us, full body, trying to, because I can't remember if you had to hold the person or
you had to touch him.
You just had
to touch him. I mean, you had to have him enough for, like, it couldn't have been a graze.
Right.
Like, you had to have had a hold on it.
Right.
So I do remember at one point, though, poor Jacob. So Mans Bluff, we played in the same area, my house, multiple reasons every time. But the other reason we did it is so you get to know the lay of the land, right? You can move faster. Once, like a blind person, you get to know, and you can actually navigate pretty quickly. So, and I think it was your idea to, in the middle of the game, move the furniture. And we actually moved the big recliner.
We did.
Into the doorway. Yeah. And Jacob heard the noise and dove, just like you said, just all out into the recliner, opened the recliner, it tipped over. This is where he got the blood.
Really? Because I thought it happened when he dove into like the washer and dryer. Like one of us was on top of it, and he just dove into the washer and dryer, not realizing that we weren't standing in front of it, that we were actually on top of it.
No, I honestly think it was a recliner because when the bottom came up, you got those metal bars. Yeah. And some of those edges are sharp, and I think that's where he got. I think that was the time
It's quite possible. I remember it was around his teeth or something. I don't think he like lost a tooth or anything.
No.
I know he definitely was cut up and he was bleeding out of his mouth.
You were awful.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
I can't believe you still have friends.
Oh, yeah. We're going to take a poll after we get enough of these out. Bullshit meter. Who believes Jerry? And who believes Chris?
Actually, that's a great idea. You should have a little graphic. A little arrow.
A little bullshit meter.
No, that was definitely a great game. Yeah, that was.
Oh my God,
poor Jacob. Again, it was not my idea, and I apologize.
Yeah, that was a go-to game for us. That wasn't a board game. We certainly enjoyed playing that, and there were definitely some injuries. And speaking of injuries, our second favorite game, to your mother's chagrin.
Oh, yes.
Army.
Army was, it's basically a masochist kind of game. Kinda. So the whole idea was somebody was a sergeant, like the drill sergeant. Drill sergeant.
You said sergeant. I think you were burping.
Anyway, so somebody would be the drill sergeant, and the rest would be the privates. So, and you just make them run around, do push-ups, do whatever.
Yep.
And to discipline them if they did not do what they were told or do it fast enough or whatever, just have fun, you would discipline them. Mm-hmm. We tried originally multiple things.
Yep.
Some hurt too much. Some didn't hurt enough. But for whatever reason, kitchen wooden spoons seem to be the perfect weapon of choice.
Go-to, yes.
They didn't leave marks, but they hurt enough that you generally would fall in line. You slap them on the back, the ass, legs, whatever, arms.
Some of us didn't take as much encouraging to fall into line as others.
I've always had an issue with orders.
Yeah.
We actually broke, and for whatever reason, we played that one mostly in my yard too.
That was always in the kitchen, from what I remember.
Out in the yard too, because I remember doing laps and running and jumping jacks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, calisthenics.
Yeah. We were just a very motivated calisthenics program.
Yeah.
But on occasion, the spoons would break. And I still, to this day, my mom would be like, where the hell are all my wooden spoons? Couldn't understand where they kept disappearing to.
Yep.
Because we would break them, and then I'd have to put them directly into the trash outside so that she didn't see the splinters.
Right. That's how hard we were hitting Chris. Because he didn't know enough to shut up.
I still don't, apparently, according to my wife.
We're going to buy her some wooden spoons for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, funny story, as I brought back memories, Hannah grabbed one of Trisha's spatula, rubber Pampered Chef spatula. Not really, it's a spreader, I guess.
Yep.
And started hitting me. So I took it back and cracked her. And then another day she came at me with it and she broke it. I said, "Oh, you in it now?" I know what happens when you. And Trisha was like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I was like, "I don't know where she got that
from. Like daughter, like father. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There was many a time, and again, I think this rotated who we played with. I remember. I'm pretty sure, obviously, Jonathan was involved.
Yeah, Jonathan, pretty much a standard in
everything.
All of them.
Yeah. Mike was there a few times, and I remember.
Oh yeah.
Again,
no last names.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say,
don't do it. And I kind of felt, bad about that afterward because he'd get really angry, like.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, he'd get you could tell he was having a hard time, holding
hit him
back. Yeah, yeah. When he got hit and stuff, so it's like, okay, maybe this isn't the game for Mike.
He doesn't have the pain tolerance we do.
No, he get angry. But yeah, because it was. But I remember, hands down, you were the one that got hit the most.
I did.
Because, it was common for us to say, bend over, because you were going to get smacked for something, and then you'd follow it up with Rover. Rover. And, yeah, you didn't take orders well, and...
I did tend to have a little bit of a smart ass mouth.
Yeah, I still do. Yeah.
Grew out of that years ago.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
But it's funny. So yeah, those two games were generally at my house.
Yep.
The game I used to love, and I remember we played at Jonathan's mostly.
Yep.
And that was called Guardians.
Yep.
And that was a really awesome game. Nobody really got hurt in that one. I don't recall too much.
No, because
Jonathan did fall off the roof one time.
We did use weapons. That was one,
but lightly.
Then, oh yeah, by then we were using wooden boken swords. We had the nunchucks. We had the staff, I think.
Yeah, and then we had a bow. We didn't have arrows.
Yeah. Yes.
So the game was, we had these 6 or 7 weapons that the Guardian would then hide around the yard. And this, again, was always at Jonathan's. I think it just lended itself well to the game.
Well, it did, because his property...
Because there wasn't a lot of open space.
No.
There was a lot of stuff to hide around. And
his property bordered... We knew the people that lived in the McCormicks on the right-hand side.
Last name.
Yeah, but I didn't say first name. A lot of McCormicks. And then the Pearsons, I believe, lived on the left-hand side. And we would play in and around both of those yards. Yes. So it kind of became known and free territory to hide the stuff on those properties as well, because we always played, so it wasn't just confined to his yard.
Right. So the Guardian would then hide the 6 or 7 or 8 weapons, whatever we had, and only one of them could hurt the Guardian.
Yeah.
So the game was, the Guardian couldn't run, and the Guardian, if he struck either of the other players with a weapon, they were dead.
Yeah.
And if he got both, the Guardian won. Meanwhile, the other two had to run around, try to find the weapons, and then use them one at a time on the Guardian to see if one would take effect while not getting killed by the Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just, we loved it. We played that thing a lot.
We did. And I remember we were young enough and small enough that I remember hiding under porches and all of that. And I remember climbing the roof and going around to the back side, and we'd get up on his house roof as well as the garage room.
Yeah.
There wasn't pretty much anything we didn't climb.
Nope. But yeah, so and we would you could hide them anywhere you wanted within the known territory. And like you said, it was so common that people were like, "Oh, it's just the neighborhood kids."
Yeah. No, they had a lot of people in their yards and stuff, and they knew that we would run through. And we were never malicious. We never did any damage to anything.
No, not to properties of other people. No.
Only to our own.
Our own properties tended to get messed up, but hey, you'll have that.
Yeah.
Like falling through your roof on the garage.
On the garage, we were peeling away the Dad never even saw that either. He didn't know about that. He just thought it had gotten old, and was gotten old. Chris and I dug out the backside so we could get into the top and have it as like a little fort and stuff.
Yeah, because we did end up building a clubhouse.
Yeah. Yes, on the backside where the laundry, the clotheslines.
Yes.
It had the wooden thing that the clotheslines went between, and we built it off one of that as a support structure. Yeah. Well, it had the wooden beam that went across, but yeah. And the reason we were so easily, because the way the garage was, I think, like pitched, you could get up very easily from the backside because it was lower.
Oh, yeah.
Like you literally could just hop right up on the roof.
Yeah. I remember my foot going through the roof, though.
Yeah. Yeah. We also played flashlight tag. That one we played, I remember playing in my yard.
Yep.
I can't.
There was another one we played in your yard too. That was basic. That one we didn't create or anything. We just used our imagination. But you remember the old cartoon Mask?
No.
Okay, so it was MASK stood for some secret group. But all the drivers had masks, and each one of those masks gave that driver a certain ability.
Oh.
And so we used to play a game with superpowers, basically like that. And so we would choose our two powers, and then we would fight it out as best we could using those powers in our imagination. And do that. That one we used to do just me and you. I don't remember a lot of on that one.
No, I don't either, and it's coming back to me, but oh my God, if you hadn't told me that, I wouldn't have remembered that, but I do remember us picking, superhero powers and trying to figure out, I vaguely remember that happening in the backyard.
Because we did that.
Yeah, running around the house, running around the garage. Oh, because also behind my garage, the neighbors had a bunch of weird, like, treed area. And they weren't trees. They were, I don't know. Remember to where behind the garage?
To your right. Yeah, it was,
It was kind of a, I don't know, shrub. It wasn't shrubs, but it was like, maybe it was trees.
They were, but it was very sparse.
Yeah,
it was like a lot that had just got overgrown. So it was like the back of their yard. They never really mowed or cleaned or did anything.
We used to play in there as well as before they built the condo on the other side. Yep. We had that big field we used to play in, so I had quite a big yard we could play in. And the two big trees, one in the front yard, one in the backyard. And I think we would hop the fence and play in a little bit at least if nothing more than to cut through, we'd hop the fence in the backyard.
Yeah.
And, kind of cut through there. But, you reminded me when we were talking about, we also played, because we used to play, we had a game or something that we did with our bikes and a Frisbee. It was like, I think we must have got it from watching Tron, obviously.
Oh, yes, the light cycles.
Bikes around the light cycles. We'd be on the bikes. One person would be with a Frisbee without the bike.
Yes.
And would have to try to hit the person, and then you got to get on their bike. And, we used to play that a lot in the across the street, the
I remember doing it up at the tennis courts at Landry.
Yes. We did go up there and played one time because that was self-contained. We didn't have to worry about throwing the Frisbee out into the road or getting hit by cars trying to pull into the...
What could go wrong? Throwing Frisbees at people riding bikes.
And also avoiding traffic that was coming in and out of the corner store that was across the street from my house. But same as Jonathan's house, we used to play all around the apartment and that store, as well as the property condo that was next to it. We used to, ride our bikes down and around there, and even the property down the hill from there on the corner of Elm and Mallets Bay.
Yeah.
So we pretty much played on that whole block with the bikes and the skateboards and the Frisbee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I had forgotten about that one until you just mentioned it. But yeah, that was totally from the light cycles in Tron that we came up with that idea.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun. We were pretty ingenuitive with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, we entertained the hell out of ourselves. We still do.
We still do. Maybe not other people, but ourselves we do.
And there was it was funny. There was a kid that I think it was just one summer, he said, that he lived across the street from my house, and he was in the apartments, and it wasn't until years later that he remembered he's the nephew of a fellow filmmaker friend of mine who's recently passed. Well, not recently anymore, but he remembered that he used to live across the street from us. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe you remember that. And he totally remembers you, and he totally remembers me, because obviously I got reintroduced to him when I started doing film projects with Colleen, and Jay would show up, and he totally remembers living across the street.
Huh.
Yeah, it totally blew me away that he remembered that.
Wow.
It was like one summer. He went to, I don't think he went to Winooski. Like I said, I think he was living there just for one summer. And obviously, since we played over there all the time, we must have gotten him involved in some of our games.
Must have.
Yeah.
I was looking up. I was trying to see because it's bothering me now.
What's that?
What MAS stood for.
Oh. Yeah, I remember you talking about that, and I remember us picking powers. But that's about the extent of my memory.
Yep. No, it's on YouTube, so you'll have to watch an episode, but they're not saying what it
stood for.
Yeah. But so yeah, no, that was. I'm trying to think. Were there any other ones?
The only other, and it was kind of a combination of martial arts. The Guardians, we use a lot of those toys and weapons.
Yeah.
We were big into martial arts. I know Bruce Lee was always been I've been a great fan of Bruce Lee. And I remember having a poster and all that. And we were big into ninjas, and we had ninja suits. We went at Nabi
Shogasugi.
Nabi gift store and bought ninja suits. You, me, and Jonathan. And we used to play games in those. We played I played paintball in that because it was all black.
Yep.
And I remember us stupidly sparring in the backyard. Yeah. Sparring in the backyard, blindfolded.
Oh yes, and I remember why, because we watched one of our ninja movies, and the guy was blinded and had to do. I was like, that would be cool to try. Yeah. We could practice that.
How we escaped without major injury is beyond me.
I think that one did stop because I think injury was prevalent. Like we got injured a fair amount, so we're like, this is probably not.
Yeah, probably not smart.
Probably not a good idea. So.
Yeah. Well, I remember paintball was big with us too. Since I mentioned it, we used to play that.
Yep.
With a bunch of people, and Jonathan's family his brother-in-law and sister owned, or at least were the caretakers of Camp
Yes.
Terra, and they had all the cabins, and we used
In
to
the
go there
off-season.
in the off season, and we play in the woods and shoot up the cabins, and then
Yeah.
we used to play with Jonathan's brother-in-law's brother, Sean, and they
Rambo.
had Rambo, and they had a camp somewhere that we would go and play paintball and invite. He had a bunch of friends, and we brought our friends, and just I remember having so much fun with that because when we started playing paintball, it was all pump action guns.
Yes.
I had the first semi-automatic gun, and I remember we were playing with a guy. I think his name was Buddy. And he was charging me because he had found my location. And then I started to shoot at him. He turned around, ran the other way. He's like, "Oh shit, that's Jerry," because he knew I had the semi-automatic gun.
Yeah.
And then we decided we had never played in a tournament before, so we decided to go up to Camp Mead. I think it was Colchester Paintball. I don't remember.
Colchester Paintball we went to.
Well, it's Colchester Paintball now. I don't know. It was at Camp Mead where we went and played in the tournament. And
I don't think I went.
You had to have been there. Yeah, you had to have been there. I remember Jonathan. I remember Sean, Buddy, Sean's friend. I'm blanking on his name. He wrote, I think he did some writing. He was writing a book and stuff. I'm trying to remember who else played with us. Maybe you didn't play, but I know there was a bunch of us, and we ended up coming in second place, remember? Yeah, we came in second place, and the only reason we didn't get first place was because the first place team had all semi-automatic guns, and all they did was lay down paint. Yeah. They just came out and spread paint. There was no accuracy or challenge for them. I don't think. They just came in and we actually took out two of them in the final round, and like I said, most of my team had pump action.
Yeah.
I was the only one with a semi-automatic gun, and we took out two of them. I think it was 5 on the team, maybe. Yeah, I don't remember. They had all those. They had the gun I really liked. The what was it called? I just had Tipman. It was a Tipman rifle style Pro.
Yeah, Tipman Pro.
I love that. I never got one of those, but I love that style.
I don't like the Tipmans. I was always the Spider. I like the Spiders over the Tipmans. Those were the two. And most rental places had Tipmans because they were a durable gun.
Yep.
But they just weren't modifiable. You couldn't really modify them easily. Whereas the Spider, like I had that pump Spider that I tweaked
yep.
to the point where I could just snipe people from roofs. Like at the camp, that's what they used to call me rooftops because I was always on a roof somewhere. Everybody was always looking up, where's it coming from?
Well, I remember having to, you always had to test your gun going in.
Yes, the chrono.
At some point, I think I had to test it again and turn it down because it was shooting like over 300 feet per second.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody had their different rules on what they allowed for FPS. So
right. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. I remember. I don't know who's had that trophy, but there was only one, so I think we shared it and passed it around and stuff. And I don't know who ended up with it, but yeah, we came in second place. I could have swore you were there, but if you don't remember that,
I don't. I know because I had a Nasty Boys pump. Then I went to the Spider semi. Actually, the very first one I had was the Splatmaster.
Yes. I still have my Splatmaster somewhere, I think.
Although me and Ian bought those Splatmasters, those were a semi, but they were a pistol.
Oh, really? No, it wasn't a semi. It had the fuller thing on the side, and you could turn it.
And it had 5 rounds in each tube.
Yeah.
And so you could sit there and fire off 5 shots before having to turn the tube.
I know I still have one in storage in my toy bin, but
yeah. But so that was technically a semi, but it's a pistol. It had like a 4-inch barrel, so it wasn't a match for rifle.
Yeah.
Excuse me, it wasn't a match for the rifles that were out there.
Well, I think didn't you have like Jonathan? I know Jonathan had the PMI.
Yes.
Pumps.
PGP or something.
PGPs, yeah.
Yep. That was a great little pistol.
It was. It worked very well. You had one. I think Sean had one. Jonathan had one. Because I remember that was what the majority of you guys were using.
I didn't have the PGP. Like I said, I was using a Spider. After the Nasty Boy pump, when I finally got a real semi.
Yep.
I had the Spider, and then I ended up after that I got a Spider AMG, which is like the electric trigger and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I remember one of the ones, and I love that gun. I wish I still had it. It was a pump gun, but it had a really long barrel, and it had a silencer on the end of it, and it had either the tank was in the back or it had a stock barrel thing in the back. So it was like a sniper rifle. You remember that?
Yeah, no, that was mine. That was the Nasty Boys.
No, I had one of those.
You had the original Nasty Boys pump.
Yeah.
But then I put because then you upgraded to a semi, and I forget what semi gun you got, because that's when I got because you gave me the pump, the Nasty Boys pump, until I could afford mine. I took and I got an extended barrel. I bought an extended barrel from it, and then I built a silencer on the end of it, and I tweaked that one out. I still got it.
I don't remember building a silencer. I could have swore like I bought one. That was like it was a silencer for
might have been for another one. Yeah, because this one basically was a sleeve with an inner sleeve PVC tubing that holes are drilled through it, and then wrap like steel wool around it, and then the outer sleeve you slide over it, and it's just black.
Yep.
But I think I still got it. I still got almost all my paintball stuff.
Yeah, no, I have my gun somewhere. Well, like I said, I have the Slapmaster, and I know I have the latest. I think it's a Spider too. But I remember the bouncing Bettys. They had the grenades.
Yes, the grenades.
With a tube and the mesh that held it together, and you chucked it and waited for it to explode.
Yeah, they just filled those rubber tubes up so much, folded them over.
Yep.
And pinched them off, and then when it came out of the net, the two ends would just spiral and spit paint.
Yep.
They had some landmines and stuff, and that stuff was kind of cool, but it's just expensive for like one-use thing. It's like
no.
yeah,
and it was hard to tell if they worked. You had to really chuck them because sometimes they didn't bounce out of the net.
Right, and then just sit there and they'd pick it up, throw it at you.
Mm-hmm. And I remember playing, we'd play straight through in the wintertime, or not in the wintertime, but we'd play straight through fall until the pellets were freezing and not breaking. We're like, guess it's time to stop playing.
Yeah, that was always the natural end of the game was like, yep, they're not breaking. That really hurts. We're done.
Yeah, we're done for the year.
Yeah.
But
no, that was, so I immensely enjoyed playing those games. A lot of fond memories and a lot of bruises, but a lot of laughs too.
Oh yeah. Well, we were quite the I don't want to say ingenious. I don't know if that's the right word, but we definitely had an imagination for coming up with games, and that's not even all of them. I don't know who came up with Level and
that was just a schoolyard game, Levo.
Yeah, Levo. Okay.
But that hide and seek, your typical kick the can.
Yeah, I don't know that I ever played that, but
basically it's like Levo, except you got to kick a can instead of yell out Levo.
Gotcha. What was the one where people got put in a jail or something?
Yeah, Levo. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You
we
played with like the whole block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we discussed that already in a previous podcast.
We might have, but I don't think it made it in because it wasn't on topic. It might have been in the first episode. I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was.
I didn't listen to
it. And the reason I say that is because I had watched it with my Trisha there on Friday night, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, we previewed it, watched it before The Mandalorian.
Nice.
So
nice. Yeah, she commented on our Facebook page. You should follow along. Stupid Talk.
I have posted on there.
You have. I was proud of you. For those who don't know, we do have a Facebook page, Stupid Talk Podcast. We also have. You can watch this. You may be watching it on YouTube. We have a channel, Tuba Talk podcast channel. And if you're watching this, then you can now download it on multiple sites. Your favorite, look for Tuba Talk podcasts on your favorite podcast channel, whether it's Apple Podcast, Spotify, I know is another one it's on, Pocket Cast. There's a Google one. I wasn't as familiar with that one, but
there's new ones that pop up almost every day. It seems.
And the online tool that I use is called Anchor. So if you haven't used Anchor, Anchor allows you to upload your podcasts to one place, and people can go there and they can listen to it, but they will send it out to all the other podcasts, and then it makes it just for more coverage, depending on what people use and are currently listening to. People aren't going to download, I got to download this podcast tool to listen to this podcast and this one to listen to that. So it's nice that Anchor sends them out to all of them, and then you can get involved with sponsorship stuff and actually try to make money on your podcast. So pretty cool. Not us per se, but
no,
other
definitely.
people could. Yeah. Other people. No.
We appreciate the 4 viewers.
Yeah, right. Where's it say that? It's not live, stupid.
No, but your wife, my wife.
I don't even think Kathy's watched it.
She's like, I've heard all those stories.
She says, I know those by heart. Yeah. No, I don't know. She might have listened to it on the way to work, usually when she would, especially when she's got to travel for to Waterbury. So
gotcha.
Yeah, she might have listened to it then. I'll have to ask her. I don't remember. But yeah, we do have quite a few in the queue, and we have some ideas. We've already penciled in a couple more. So yeah, I think we're doing good. Yeah, the comic book universe. We're splitting Marvel and DC.
The movie,
We're gonna talk about that and in the next couple.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I definitely think then I'll have to make sure I look up and try to watch Justice League too. So let's do DC first.
Okay, so you're gonna watch Justice League?
Yeah, unfortunately, I've seen most of the DC ones.
Yep. Well, that's what I want to know. So I want to know what my homework is before we watch it. So if we do DC first, I got to watch Justice League.
Yeah, because I haven't watched that one. I haven't
seen it in a while.
I never watched it. Honestly, because I just...
Well, you've seen The Dark Knight and Batman Begins.
Yeah, but that's totally different.
But that's DC, isn't it?
It is, but it's not the current...
Right.
DC. No, we can go into all that. No, I've seen a lot of them. And the most recent ones, not a big fan of per se. Like the Batman versus Superman, the Justice League. So we'll see. I did. Again, I'm not going to go into that now. But so the only major one I really haven't seen from them is Justice League. So that'll be my homework to watch that one.
All right, I'll have to watch it again because I haven't seen it since theater, probably.
Yeah, I didn't go. And actually, funny story, the only reason I saw Batman versus Superman is because Trisha really wanted to see it. Because Trisha loves Batman from Michael Keaton time.
Yeah.
She actually we have lots of comics, but she actually liked Batman in high school. Before then, she actually had bought The Killing Joke, which is the graphic novel where the Joker kills Robin, one of the Robins,
okay.
in the comic books. So the comics were very dark. A lot of them were. People think that, even back then, people were like, comics, blah, blah, blah. Oh, they go over some pretty intense material. So, but yeah, so she's a fan of Batman from way back. So she had saw the preview and she likes Ben Affleck. I don't
know. We definitely know she likes Matt Damon too, because
she loves Matt Damon. That's her guy.
That's her
hall pass guy.
Yep.
That's what she has said many, many, many a times.
Yep.
That's her one hall pass. So look, you see Matt Damon, go for it.
Right?
Yeah, don't let me stand in your way.
Yep. I don't think you could. She'd be like, out the way.
Out the way, fool. That's Matt Damon.
Yep.
But cool. I think that pretty much rounds out.
I think so. I think we touched on all the games. Some we both had forgotten about, so that was cool.
Yeah.
Kind of spur of the moment. Yep. So I think we covered that. And
I had totally forgot about the Tron one. That was awesome. I'm glad you remembered that. That was a lot of fun. I remember doing that.
Yeah, it was simple. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we all had bikes, so.
Yeah.
Frisbees were a dime a dozen back then. So.
Oh, yeah. I think we had multiple ones, too.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were going to chase after it every time we threw it.
Exactly. I think we had 2 or 3 discs. That
2 or 3, yeah.
You could throw. But.
Yeah.
Cool, awesome. Cool.
All right, Tuped.
All right, Tuped. Till next time.
Yeah, have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Bye, Tuped.
Bye, Tuped.
Cut. One of these times you're going to have to leave that in there.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
People will be like, what the hell is
what
that?
the hell?
Just our special effects that we have.
Yeah. Chris wants to be a director.
No. Well, thank you for joining us for that latest podcast where we delved into our past a little bit more and talked about some of the games that we really enjoyed that we came up with, tweaked, played. Usually involving bodily injury, but nobody was seriously injured. So we'll take that as a win and see you next time.
And then we pretty much played on the first floor.
Yes,
so
because that would have been really dangerous.
Yeah, going up and down. Oh, like you cared.